And I walked into the house and said, oh, I just got fired. And my wife looked at me and started crying. And I said, that's okay, we're gonna start a company.
30 years ago, as Houston entered the last decade of the millennium, 7 intrepid men and their families bravely launched an enterprise that none could have predicted its challenges, and it changed their lives forever. Hear their stories as the founders answer questions and reminisce on early challenges and key decisions. All the turning points and pivots that built Costello Inc. into one of Houston's most admired companies and best places to work.
What unexpected hurdles did you encounter?
I think the one thing that I thought was kind of challenging was managing growth. Because when I go back and look, we went from 7 to almost 30 right away to almost 70 within a very short period of time. And so that created a lot of financing challenges that we had. And then obviously things kind of settled down after that. Because we were at 70 for a long time before we grew to 100. And then we were at 100 for a long time. So it was kind of like step functions.
Exactly.
We just didn't really go gradual. It was real big jumps. Yeah. And each time Blake would say, we're not going to go there, but we ended up going there. Yeah.
Early on, the space was an issue. Always, we were trying to cram people into that same little amount of space with partitions, and
we were
doubling up,
and then getting more and cutting a hole in a wall, and
yeah
we were constantly moving around.
Yeah, you remember that little office I was in? It was so tiny, just barely get that desk in there, and it had a glass partition.
What advice would you give Costello today?
I think the same advice that I had when I was there is. Anything worth doing is worth doing right.
Yeah, I think that's written on the wall somewhere.
Yeah. And then I also always had to say, they would do a job and they'd rush through it just to get it out. And I'd always say, there's never enough time to do it right, but there's always enough time to do it twice. And it's still true today. And I'll give Klein credit for that one. That's where I got that one. But it was true.
And always get topo.
Always get topo.
Hickory Road.
Real topo.
I remember that lath that would hung up behind your desk because of a topo issue.
What'd it say?
You had a lath hanging up behind your desk.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Always get topo.
But Blake, I do give you a compliment all the time. When people ask me about the firm in early years, I say, well, the best thing I ever did was partner with Blake and have him run the technical side of the business, because you took a lot of young kids and you trained them to be really great engineers, and I tell everybody that. And you can see that with the people that are still there, the quality of the work that you put out. I mean, that was the one thing that, aside from us always fussing up to any type of mistakes we made, our clients had a lot of trust in the ability for us to produce quality work, and I see that today. I think people still talk about Costello and the work you guys do, so that's attributed to him.
Was there ever a time that you were scared that the business would fail?
I never had that moment, no. I never was scared it would fail. Never did. It was too good of a thing happening. Put the right team together, and it just worked. And it worked from day one, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I agree with that. We had those 3 or 4 clients came in the door immediately, and we all got busy right away.
Yep.
We were all busy, and I just felt like we were constantly just trying to keep up with the work that we were getting.
What is your most memorable project and why?
It would probably be the First Colony Mall.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It was an 80-acre site job. We were not supposed to even be considered for the project. And we ended up getting the job having basically 0 experience on a site job. And then that job led to more jobs, which led to more jobs, which led to also getting work with Heinz. It just ballooned on us. And then there were a few stories with their crazy schedules they had, and working through Valentine's Day one night, which I got in real trouble for from some of the wives.
93, how many times did you move it 2 degrees to catch the sun in the front doors?
The architects flew spaceships to work. I mean, it was always changing, always changing.